Everything fell apart for them after that. The neighbor's words hit them harder than anything I'd said. The shortest fake cop panicked first. He stepped back, nearly tripping over the curb. Eyes locked on my badge like it was a loaded weapon. "Man, he's real law," he whispered to the others. The tall one hissed, "Shut up! Stick to the plan!" But his voice wasn't convincing anyone, not even himself. I watched him try to pull his shoulders back, trying to look tough again, but his hands were shaking too much to hide it. He pointed at me with that cheap plastic badge and said, "You're still coming with us." "HOA violations are serious," his voice cracked again. Everyone heard it. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't move fast. I just said one line, calm and steady. "Touch me again, and you won't walk away from this as free men." You could feel the whole street inhale. The tall one's eyes flicked to a black SUV parked down the road. A woman inside was watching closely, phone in hand, recording everything, and the fake cops noticed. "Great," the short one muttered. "We're being filmed." He looked at me again, fear all over him. "Dude, what are you?" I finally answered him. "Someone whose badge outranks every badge you've ever pretended to wear." His knees almost gave out. The tall one grabbed his arm to keep him steady. And that's when a real patrol car turned the corner. Blue and red lights hit their faces like a spotlight of truth. The real patrol car rolled onto the street. The fake cops froze like their feet were glued to the pavement. The flashing lights washed over their cheap uniforms, exposing every lie they'd been hiding behind. The tall one whispered, "No, no, no, no." "Who called them?" I didn't answer. I didn't need to. The officer stepped out of the cruiser, hand resting casually on his belt, eyes narrowing as he took in the scene. He recognized me instantly. His posture straightened. "Sir," he said respectfully, giving me a nod, "we got your signal." That alone made the fake cops stumble backward. "Signal?" the short one repeated. "What signal?" The officer didn't even look at them. His attention stayed on me as he asked, "These the men pretending to be law enforcement?" The tall fake cop panicked. No, we're HOA security. We were just doing our job." The officer raised an eyebrow. "Your job?" He walked right up to the tall one and flicked the plastic badge with one finger. It bounced on its lanyard like a child's toy. "This isn't official. This isn't even legal." The short guy tried to step away, but the officer cut him off. "Stay where you are." The fake cops looked trapped. Neighbors were filming, the real officer was here, and there was no way out. Then the officer turned to me. "Sir, do you want to explain your badge? Or should I?" I met the fake cop's eyes, letting the silence build, letting the tension tighten like a rope around their lies. The moment I stepped out of my truck, 3 men wearing cheap HOA security vests marched toward me like they owned the street. One of them pointed at my gate and said, "You're under HOA arrest. Hands where we can see them." Neighbors peeked out of windows. Cameras started recording. They thought they had power, until I slowly reached into my jacket and pulled out my real badge, the one that outranked every fake badge they were flashing. Their faces went blank. Their confidence cracked, and the street went silent as the truth hit them like a brick. They had just tried to arrest the highest-ranking law officer in the entire county, and I wasn't in the mood to play games. The moment I stepped out of my truck, 3 men in cheap HOA security vests rushed toward me like they were raiding a crime scene. The tallest one pointed a plastic-looking badge at my chest and shouted, "Stop right there! You're under HOA. Arrest for violating community rules." I didn't even get the chance to close my truck door. They moved in fast, blocking my driveway like they owned the land. One grabbed my arm. The other reached for cuffs that looked like they came from a toy store. Neighbors peeked through curtains. A few even stepped outside, whispering, phones ready to record. The fake cop tightened his grip and said, "Don't test us. We're the authority here." I stared at him for a long second, then slowly reached inside my jacket. Their hands jumped to their belts, trying to look tough. But the second I pulled out my badge, my real badge, their faces changed. The middle guy stepped back as if he'd seen a ghost. I held it up calmly and said, "You boys sure you want to finish this?" The street fell silent. The tallest fake cop's mouth opened, but no words came out. He kept glancing between my badge and his cheap vest like he was trying to convince himself this was still going his way. The other two shifted nervously, their fake cuffs suddenly feeling heavier. I took one slow step forward, and they stepped back like a wave was pushing them. "What badge is that?" one of them stammered. I didn't answer. I just let the gold shine in the sunlight long enough for the neighbors to gasp. One woman whispered, "That's not a normal badge." The fake cop swallowed hard, trying to recover his fake authority. We still have the right to detain you." His voice cracked mid-sentence. I raised an eyebrow. "On whose authority?" He opened his mouth again, then closed it. His eyes darted to the street like he was hoping someone would save him, but nobody moved. Everyone could feel it. These weren't real cops. And they'd just cornered someone who outranked every law they pretended to enforce. I leaned in slightly and said, "If you know what this badge means, you should be running right now." His hand started shaking, and that's when the first neighbor stepped onto their porch and said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "You idiots picked the wrong man today." "Go ahead," I said. "Tell them exactly who they tried to arrest." The officer nodded and stepped forward, speaking loud enough for the whole neighborhood to hear. "You three idiots tried to detain—" He paused, letting it hit. "The highest-ranking badge in this entire county." The tall fake cop's jaw dropped. The short one actually whispered, "We're dead." The tall fake cop started shaking, so badly his fake handcuffs rattled. He looked at me like he was seeing a ghost wearing a badge. "We didn't know," he stuttered. "Nobody told us who you were." I stepped closer, just enough for him to feel the weight of the truth. "You didn't ask," I said. "You just tried to arrest a homeowner on his own land, using fake authority." The officer circled them, slow and deliberate. "Impersonating law enforcement. Illegal detainment. Harassment. Trespassing." He listed every charge like he was reading their future out loud. Each word made the color drain from their faces. The short one broke first. "It wasn't my idea," he blurted. "He told us the HOA had real power." He pointed at the tall one so fast it almost made the neighbors laugh. The tall one snapped, "Shut up! Stick to the story!" But it was too late. Their operation was falling apart right on the street. The real officer looked at me again. "Sir, do you want to add anything before we take them in?" I held up my badge, slow, calm, letting them see the full authority they had challenged. "I outrank every badge in this county. And you tried to slap toy cuffs on me." The tall fake cop choked on his own breath. The third guy, who had stayed silent the whole time, finally whispered, "We're going to prison, aren't we?" Before anyone could answer, the officer pulled out real handcuffs, metal ones, not plastic, and said, "Turn around. All of you." The fake cops did. Heads down, shaking, defeated. They came here acting like they controlled the neighborhood. Now they were being arrested in front of the entire Block 21. HOA thugs tried to arrest me in my own driveway until they saw my real credentials. Genre, action, comedy, authority reversal. Hook. They thought the badge they printed at home meant something. Until they met someone with jurisdiction. 22. Fake HOA police patrolled my street. They picked the wrong house to target. Genre, suspense, thriller. Hook. Their fake authority collapsed the second I exposed their criminal setup. 23. They tried to handcuff me for violating HOA policy. Then I showed my federal ID. Genre, confrontation, drama. Hook. The look on their faces when they realized I outranked their entire imaginary department? Priceless. 24. HOA pretend cops. Tried running a sting operation. Too bad. I'm actual law enforcement. Genre, crime, dark humor. Hook. They came to trap me. I came with a lawful warrant. 25. They tried to arrest me with toy badges. I brought out a reel. Badge and reel backup. Genre, action, comedy. Hook. The moment they heard real sirens, game over. 26. HOA enforcers. Tried to detain me until I revealed I trained federal agents. Genre, authority flex, and plot twist. Hook. Their hands were shaking before mine even reached for my ID. 27. They claimed HOA law overruled federal law. My response ended. Their whole operation. Genre, legal thriller. Hook. One sentence shut them down permanently. 28. They called themselves HOA police. They were speechless. When I began reading real statutes, genre, power move, satisfying justice, hook, they didn't even understand the laws they pretended to enforce. 29. HOA fake officers tried to search my property. I showed them what a real search warrant looks like. Genre, law, drama, hook. Their fake clipboard didn't stand a chance. 30. They tried to arrest me for non-compliance. Unfortunately for them, I know federal criminal code. Genre, smart justice, authority. Hook, I turned their fake arrest attempt into a real legal investigation. When the fake HOA cops realized the badge I pulled out wasn't plastic like theirs, but federal. Embossed and very real, their whole attitude collapsed. The one who tried to cuff me went pale. The one holding the clipboard slowly hid it behind his back. And the one pretending to be chief of HOA police suddenly couldn't remember his own name. Within minutes, real law enforcement rolled up. My call, my jurisdiction. The fake officers were arrested for impersonation, fraud, and trespassing. Their operation was shut down before sunset. As they were taken away, the chief muttered, I didn't know you were actually federal